Hey everyone, are you ready to be fired up? It is Krista Mashore, and I am so excited to welcome Joe Seamon. He is from South Carolina and Georgia, and he is crushing it. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm awesome. So thank you for having us on this podcast. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I can't wait to dig into this conversation.
I know. Well, you are I love your story. So kind of tell us a little bit about your story, the back story, where you're at. Like you are crushing it.
How much time do we have? Right?
Joking not.
Yeah. So anyway, so I started in real estate in 2018. So prior to coming into real estate, I ran and managed a compilation of my family's businesses, which was manufacturing and installing billboards. We had a small hardware store, a self-serve car wash, a land company. So all day long, I was switching hats all day, all week. And so in 2017, I went to my dad and asked for a raise, and he said, "Can't give you a raise unless you come out on the road with me," because he worked 3, 4, 5 nights a week on the road. I don't like being out on the road working. I like being out on the road traveling with my family, but not out on the road working. And so I just said, that doesn't sound like it's going to be for me. And at that point, I gave him a 6-month notice that I'd be leaving the family business after 27 years of running and working with family. Had no clue that I was going to come into real estate. I actually thought I was going to go to a local plant and, work my 9 to 5 there. And go home, not worry about the pressures of work at night and on weekends, things like that. But that wasn't in the cards for me. Whenever I tell you that I put in over 100 resumes at a local plant and got denied every single one of them, I knew something else had to be in the cards for me.
It took you 100 times to figure that out.
Over 100. Like more like 140. So it was a lot. But anyways, and I'm an educated guy. I've got a college degree. Have plenty of business background, and just kept getting denied. So I just knew something else was out there for me. And I was still working for my parents at that time. And I went to lunch one day, and something just lit off in my brain. And I called a real estate agent friend of mine, and I said, "Hey, what do you think about me coming into real estate?" And she said, she had been practicing for 8 years at that point. She said, "Every single soul that has asked me to come into real estate, I've told them how hard it is. Don't do it. Find you a job." She said, "In 8 years, you're the first person I'm going to tell, go for it."
Ooh.
So that was the encouragement enough after kind of getting beat down through all the, denials and all that. So I was like, oh, awesome. So what do I do next? And we sat right in the parking lot of my office. I booked the real estate school for success right there, and got on my way to getting a real estate license. And so I called my dad up, said, "Hey, I think I'm going to go into real estate." And he was like, "No, that is the worst thing you could ever do. I've had plenty of friends to go in real estate. It's not worked out for them. And these are, good people, hardworking people, and it just doesn't work out." So I said, "I know I just had this conversation with my friend like 10 minutes ago, but I really feel a strong pull to go into real estate." So I sat there, booked the school. I left my dad within 2 weeks of that phone conversation and started real estate school, got my license, and then joined their small team, and the rest was history. I love what I do, and I love everything to do with real estate, but that first year in real estate was hard. The hardest year of my life. And that is not a stretch of the truth. That is just the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. It was a strain on us financially, on my marriage. Yes, so I'm going to get into that. We almost lost our house. It was the hardest year for me and Hope as a married, being married. And it was just hard. It was tough. So all of 2018, I only made $11,000 doing real estate. Wow. And I'm thinking, if this is what it takes to make money, how is everybody making money in real estate? Because I'm not doing it. And so it's tough, literally like 1 week we'd be like, is the power going to be cut off this week? 1 week we'd be like, okay, there's a note on our door from the bank, when are they going to auction our house off? So we literally were 6 months behind on our mortgage. However, the only saving grace with us keeping our house is that continual conversation and communication with our bank. Like, I've got a closing. I'm going to make $2,000 at this closing, and I promise I'll send you $750 of it for put towards my mortgage. So, But it was tough. It was very, very tough. And I don't want to stay there too long, but it was the hardest year of my life, to where I just laid in the bed at night. Very, very, very little sleep. I laid in the bed and just watched the ceiling fan turn round and round and round all night long. One of the main drivers as far as like why I'm so relentless about real estate and so passionate about it is in 2018, I was in a showing, remember like it was yesterday. I was showing these buyers a house, and we had looked like at 40 houses at that point. So at this point, I'm like emptying my piggy bank to put gas in my car to sell them something, but I couldn't give up on them. But we were in a showing, and Hope kept calling me over and over and over. And so I was like, please excuse me, let me catch this, because she's got the kids and I'm not real sure what she's calling about. But she was calling because she was at the grocery store and our debit card had gotten declined over $24 of groceries.
Wow.
And I just was like on the phone, Hope, I don't know what you want me to do. Cannot pull money out of the sky. We are, like it's tanked. Mm-hmm. And I'm working. I don't know. I'm trying. And anyways, so that was just the start of like, I entered into a little depression the end of 2018, and would lay in the bed day in and day out and just couldn't pull myself out of bed, because this was not normal life for me. Mm-hmm. I worked.
You're a pretty happy person too.
Very happy person. But I worked a job. I worked pretty much 7 days a week, running my family's businesses, and I knew what was going on. I knew what my paycheck was going to be at, on Fridays. I knew I was going to get that salary, and real estate is just so different. And so, it's just a very different thing. I could not really get a grasp on how to make this work. And I'm a pretty smart guy. I know how to put things together. I just could not figure out how to make the real estate thing work. So I'm literally like halfway depressed. This guy calls me in late 2018. I see his name pop up on my phone, and he's a website designer. And I'm like, let me talk to him. I can't afford him, but let me talk to him. Let me see what he might have up his sleeve. He wasn't calling me about website. He was calling me to come talk to him and his wife about selling their house. So I was like, heck yeah, this is my break, Mm-hmm. He was like, when are you available? And I'm like, I can be there in 20 minutes. I'm like, yeah. And so anyways, that was November of 2018. I went to the listing appointment, had never done a listing appointment ever before, had never run a CMA before, ever. Literally was breaking open my piggy bank to get $5 worth of quarters together to put gas in my car at that point. So, I got the listing, had to actually literally essentially borrow money from the broker to get the listing photos done, to get all the stuff done. So they're like, yeah, we'll put it on like an account. We'll get paid back after you close it, things like that. So we put that house on the market the day before Thanksgiving. And me just being green in real estate, all the other agents in my office was like, you're an idiot for putting it on the market during a holiday, much less having an open house the day before Thanksgiving. Well, that house went under contract the day after Thanksgiving.
Great.
So at that point, when that house went under contract, I'm like, okay, I can make this thing work. Mm-hmm. Like, it was a literal light turned on in my brain.
A bit of momentum.
Yes. I needed a win is what I needed. Yes. I needed a win. And that one win changed the whole trajectory of my real estate career.
So 2018, 2019, not so good. Now we're at 2020.
2019 was okay. I needed that one win in 2018 because I made $11,000 in 2018. And in 2019, I closed 54 homes. I just needed that one thing to boost me.
From nothing and to 54 homes.
Yes.
Okay.
And so through that, but it's just relentless, hard work. You've got to be very passionate about it.
You are. You work hard.
I'm very passionate, and I do work hard. So, no one in my market is going to outwork me. Mm-hmm. And I think our clients can see that. The consumer, the person on the other side of the social media screen can see just how hard we work. And then we also prove it once we get a listing agreement or once we get them under contract. Like, we prove that we work very hard. No one is going to work harder for you than we will. Mm-hmm. And so 2019 was good. Ended up being able to get caught up on everything, which was a relief. And it's just been over since that. I mean, it's just been wonderful. And it was just from that one phone call, thank the Lord. Thank the Lord I answered the phone, because that is something that a lot of real estate agents don't do, is answer the dang phone, you know?
I know.
I will always answer the phone, and that one phone call changed the whole
trajectory.
Yeah.
Several hundred homes a year that we're selling, and right now you're in the same market as everyone else.
Absolutely.
Low interest, low inventory, high interest rates. Just it's been a hard 2 years. August, we're going on 2 years now of the interest rates being the way that they are. We have the NAR lawsuit. Everything is stacked up against people that agents are saying. It's what we're hearing.
Yes.
But I'm seeing agent after agent after agent who's doing the work. Showing up, actually grinding the pavement, being innovative, having a unique selling proposition. Like you, having the best years of their career.
Yes.
So tell me, what is it? So first of all, Joe, what is your chapter about?
So my chapter is how to own your neighborhood through CMA drop-off.
And own your neighborhood through CMA drop is something that we teach. We've been teaching it now for a long time.
So I learned it from you. So I didn't know anything about, like it was a foreign concept before I learned it through our coaching group. And so...
you've taken it on steroids. Very, very great follow-up systems. You've done a great job.
Yes, I absolutely put it on steroids. So I loved the CMA process. I loved the box. I loved the whole drop off. But then I was kind of like, what do I do after that?
Yeah.
And I know like it's kind of left out there for you to kind of figure out your follow up. But I'm a systems guy. Like everything to do with our real estate business has a system, all the way down to how to put your open house signs out for an open house.
So
there's a system for that. So I'm a very process and systems guy. So I needed a process for that CMA drop off. And so we took the first piece from the coaching group, the CMA drop-off, how to run CMA, what to do, how to create that kind of question in the seller's mind. I took that piece and then I just created a follow-up process that actually spans a course of 6 months if you do it the right way.
Awesome.
And so we start with the generic CMA, neighborhood CMA, just very generic, very broadcast CMA. We drop that off as almost like an introduction, like, hello, I'm Joe Seamon, I'm your local real estate agent, I sell a whole bunch of houses. At that point, if they have any interest in selling or buying or know someone, they are more than likely going to try to find you on social media, look you up on Google. And so once they come to your Facebook page and you're just flooded with real estate videos and community content and all that, they're like, this guy must sell a lot of houses.
Yeah.
And so we take that piece. That is almost like the greeting card, like, hello, how are you? This is my name. And then after that, we wait a span of about 4 weeks, and then we follow up with a postcard that is mailed. So now they're getting another touch point from us, along with you should be dropping these off in your areas that you're selling a lot of houses.
Yes. Anytime you sell a house or work or
farm it,
or
farm
buy,
that area. Farm that area.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, 1,000%. So...
And really quickly, the CMA box, so everyone understands, is basically a box that you drop off. Inside the CMA box is the actual home evaluation, the CMA. There is often a seller's guide. There's a seller's checklist. There's a full-on marketing plan. There's a book that's in there that shows that they're an author. And again, all of these materials are not just, they're specifically materials that have been developed to convert. Like they're talking about things that the average agent is not talking about.
That's right.
Geo-targeting, digital marketing, all the different things that we teach in the program,
right.
How important exposing the home is on different social media sites. So it's really this wow piece that people don't throw away, and no one is doing it. So it really elevates your authority.
It elevates your authority, but it also causes that potential seller to start having questions in their mind.
Yeah.
Why did the other agent not tell me this?
Yes.
Why doesn't the other agent know about XYZ? And here Joe is already answering it before I've even had a chance to ask him the question.
Yes.
And so getting back to the box, we don't actually leave a box during this process because this year in 2024, we're going to drop off over 6,000 CMAs.
Wow, it's awesome.
So we put the little packets together and we put them in a little cellophane bag that will hang on the door. So it's a very inexpensive way to get a CMA there if they're not home. And then whenever they do actually raise their hand or scan the QR code or text me or DM me or something, that is when I will, like a maniac, drop everything that I'm doing, put together a CMA box, and go hand deliver it myself, and introduce myself in person. And I also use that as a tool to say, if you're, Miss Mashore, if you're interviewing other agents, use all of my assets as a measuring stick for all the other agents that come along.
Yeah.
And see if they're providing all this information. And I'll see you on Tuesday at 1.
Yeah. Exactly.
And then I'll go home and, go back and clean the streets with it. But anyways, so step 2 is the postcard. So we've got a postcard formulated that we send through EDDM or the personal marketing company. You want to target that area over and over and over. But you should be listing and selling homes in these areas. So on top of the CMA process, they should still be getting the just listed postcard, under contract postcard, just sold postcard, newsletters. And then you should be targeting these areas on your social media as well. Like they almost can't get rid of you. And then when you list, they see your yard sign and your lead-in signs, and then they get on the interstate and they see a billboard, and they're just, it all has to work together. So the CMA cannot just be the one thing. We were talking about that earlier. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to do the CMA process, and that's it. Yeah. It's everything that works together and everything that we learn through the coaching platform.
Well, you're so good, too. You're very consistent. Like one thing I'll say about Joe, well, and I will say, too, is the mindset. Like you always come to the calls with a positive attitude. Energy goes where focus flows. Your energy is happy. It's positive. You are a ray of shining light. Even you see it in your videos. You see it in your content. You see it on the calls. You see it everywhere. And it's just,
well, who wants to work with a boring agent?
Yeah.
Right?
So that's the name.
Or somebody that's low energy. Like, yeah, exactly. Do you want to sell your house with somebody that's low energy?
Yeah, no. This
is the greatest career anyone can be in. The greatest industry anyone could ever be in. And so why not go into it showing everyone that you actually love what you do?
Yeah. And I think I do believe this in every sense of my being, and that is that, I was a teacher before getting into real estate, as you said, after 6 years of being a teacher, making $60,000 a year with a master's degree, working 12 months out of the year. Yeah. And in real estate, I've made that in a day. It's like not in a, so.
It only took you 20 hours that day to make that.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. But the it's like.
We trade our 9 to 5 to work 24/7.
Exactly. But there's so much opportunity if you will just learn to do it in a different way and learn to differentiate yourself and to stand out and be seen over and over and then follow up that exposure with, before a listing appointment, they're getting all this material. You're driving traffic to your listing marketing video, to the seller funnel for the neighborhood. All these things together. It's like it's like marketing on steroids, but it can change your life.
And it doesn't cost that much money.
No.
People think, if they're thinking, I can't do all this because I'm new to the business or I don't make that much commission or anything like that. Like it's costing you more money not to do it than to just spend $30 on a Facebook ad or something for the month.
And now and it has not been that long, right? And 5 years or selling
5.5
homes a year, 5.5 years, 100 homes a year. First year and a half didn't do much of anything. And now you're also taking over more than 10% of your highest price listings.
Luxury listings, yeah. So last Thursday before I came out to Tahoe, I pulled so I do this about once or twice a week. I pull all the listings over $1 million, and there was 43 listings last Thursday, and we hold 5 of those.
Wow!
So a little over 10% of the market share in luxury listings. So that is something that was just kind of a caveat that came through the coaching program. Is elevated because we live in a market where our median price is $286,000. Yeah. And so our team's median price is about $400,000. So it's elevated us in our marketing. And that's what you want to do as a real estate agent. You don't want to just hammer and grind out on the and all listings and all sales are great. I'm not downplaying because your house is only $200,000. I'm not downplaying that at all. But, it takes the same amount of work to do a $200,000 house as it does $1 million.
Absolutely.
And so, you just do that. So getting back to the CMA drop-off process.
And by the way, if you go to KristaMashore.com/secrets, you can see Joe's absolute whole chapter all about this from A to Z, what he does from beginning to end. And also, if you decide to do a little further, you can see his training on it as well.
Yeah. And so we have another drop-off. So this is a process of 6 months. So month 3, we're doing another drop-off in person, part of the seller's guide. So our seller's guide is 28 pages. We take about 8 pages out of the seller's guide, and then we make sure we put a letter in there for our full 28-page seller's guide. So then it's creating he's providing all this in just 8 pages. What else is in the 20 pages? And so I want to give them that full brochure, and I want them to scan the QR code or call me, text me, DM me. I tell people, send a smoke signal in the air, and I'll come. So, and then month 4, you're dropping another postcard. So it's like every other month you're in person, and then every other month you're dropping a postcard. So it's really very low effort to get all of this information out.
And then they're seeing you all over social media.
Everywhere.
You tell stories, you can't go anywhere now without everyone recognizing you.
Yes, and so my wife was actually, we were at a church service the other day. It was a special church service, and I'm not kidding, it's like a tent revival for those that are in the South. We could not move 3 feet, and somebody coming up to us, because it's not our normal church, somebody coming up to us like, "Are you the real estate guy? I see you on social media. I saw this and I saw that." And so my wife was like, "Can we please go find our seat?" So anyways, so it does. It creates that kind of local real estate celebrity status in an indirect way. Yeah. It's not that we were seeking that, but it's created that.
Oh, no, you're seeking that. You want that. You want everyone to know your name, right? Yeah. It's really important who you know, but it's even more important who
knows you. So I teach that to our team. Everyone, all of us as agents, we know who our clients are. Yeah. But do our clients know that we're their agent? Yeah. And so, you need to make sure that your client knows that you're their solo agent.
Yeah. It's just like this solo. You don't go to 20 doctors, you go to one.
You go to one. And so, anyways, the CMA process, it's a very simple thing to do. It just takes a lot of planning. It does take planning, and it does take work. I mean, anything worth having, you got to work for it. Yeah. And so, it takes work. It takes a lot of planning, and then you got to have a good follow-up system after you're done with the 6-month process. So you can't just say, "Okay, I've done the CMA process, and I'm gonna sit back and wait for the phone to ring and the money to roll in," because it doesn't happen that way. You got to continue with your sponsored ads. You got to continue going to heavily popular restaurants and events and making sure people see you all the time. Yeah. Because they've gotten your postcard, they've gotten the CMA, they're seeing your under contract postcards, and then they're seeing your social media, and now they're seeing you where they hang out at too. Yeah. The ball game and the restaurant, and so Joe's a pretty good guy and pretty cool guy, and so I kind of mesh well with him. I need to call him because we're thinking about selling our house. And so that's how it all happens. You cannot do just one thing. I'm asked all the time in real estate, what's the one thing I need to be doing? And I tell them every single time, it's everything.
It's everything. All the things put together. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's been so nice watching you. I mean, I love you. I love having you on the calls. He wasn't going to come because he had like a $2.8 million closing.
Not quite. You always try to make it seem so. It was $2.2 million.
$2.2 million. Okay, it's only 10 times. He's like, "I can't come," and he double-ended it. So really, it's 4.8 if you do that, or I can add. But anyway, so I always end every podcast the same. And that is this: if you can give one piece of advice, whether it's business, marriage, personal development, health, wealth, whatever, what would that be?
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I think, we as real estate agents in our profession, we like to compare ourselves to others. So like my social media is pretty simple. It's so simple to where I don't even follow other agents in my market. Because I don't want to compare what they're doing or what they're driving or how they're dressed or, dang, they got that $1 million listing. Why didn't I get it? So I don't even look at that. I keep my social media very simple, but I try to keep everything simple. Like, we have a lot of assets. We've created a lot of things, but it's all very, very simple. However, it is, it's not a lot. We don't feel like it's a lot of things that we're doing on our end, but it's 100% more than any other agent is doing in your market. Yeah, 100%. And so just through the graphics and through your language, and you don't have to be highly educated to go and do a listing presentation. I mean, heck, I got one in 2018, had never done one in my life. And you just keep it simple, I think when you're very relatable and keep it very, very simplified, people relate to that much stronger rather than, I've got a college degree in marketing and this is how we're going to do. And, we're going to get all this stuff done. Keep it simple. That's probably my biggest tip is keep it simple. And that's family. That's business. That's just everything. Keep it simple.
That's everything. Yeah. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple.
Sweetie. Okay, everyone. I hope you are just as started as Joe Seamon. Please tell them how they can get in contact with you. And remember, if you go to KristaMashore.com/secrets, you can see Joe's entire chapter, which is very lengthy and in detail, as well as if you choose to watch the training that he created as well. And it's been so nice having you. Joe, I love you.
I love you
too.
So,
yeah.
We always act like we're brother and sister. Like, I'm the East Coast male version of Krista Mashore. A lot of energy, a lot of excitement. There's never
a lot of appreciation, love,
a lot of appreciation, and gratitude.
And I tell everyone, like, Joe puts the work in. He does the work, right? Like, he works. Yeah. He's personally doing this.
Eat my own dog food.
Eat my own dog food.
Yep.
So, anyways, everyone, we love you. Hope you are just as fired up as we are. We will see you next time.